Hey everyone, it is me. So Google just dropped a huge bomb, basically saying goodbye to the search engine as we knew it. They're revamping it with generative AI, making it all smart and conversational. Now, I'm gonna be honest, when I first heard about this, a part of me thought, here we go again, another tech giant changing the game. But then my mind, the one that has been through the investment ringer, started connecting the dots to our finances. And that is where things get interesting. This new AI search bar, it is designed to give you answers directly, almost instantly. You ask a question, and it pretty much spells it out for you. On the surface, that sounds like a dream for efficiency, right? No more sifting through blue links, no more digging for information. Just ask, and the AI delivers. And a part of me, the part that is tired of wading through countless articles to find one piece of useful info, sees the appeal. It is supposed to make browsing more automated, more seamless. But here is my first big concern, as someone who has lost money because of being too lazy to do my own research. You see, a lot of folks online are already up in arms saying Google just killed the internet as we know it. They're worried about critical thinking skills eroding, about people getting dumber because an AI is thinking for them. And honestly, I get it. Back in my early investing days when I was chasing every hot stock and falling for every scam, I was relying on quick answers, on snippets of information, on what others told me was true. I wasn't doing the deep dive, checking multiple sources, understanding the nuances. I just wanted the answer, the quick fix, the easy way out. And that mentality cost me a lot of money. This new AI search, while efficient, could unknowingly foster that same lazy approach to information gathering, especially when it comes to money. Imagine you're looking for investment advice or trying to understand a complex financial product. The AI gives you a neat, summarized answer. It sounds authoritative, it is convenient. But how much critical thinking did you really do? Did you cross-reference? Did you look for dissenting opinions? Did you truly understand the risks involved? My fear is that many won't. They'll take the AI's word as gospel, just like I used to take some random guru's word as gospel, and that is a dangerous game to play with your hard-earned cash. I remember when I first started investing, I'd type something like best stocks to buy. Now into the old Google search bar, it would spit out a bunch of articles, some good, some terrible, some pushing specific agendas. It forced me to actually read, to compare, to think critically about who was writing what and why. It was a pain sometimes, sure, but it was also a learning process. I developed a filter, a skepticism, which is essential in the world of finance. With the AI just giving you the answer, that filter might not get built. That critical muscle might atrophy, as some folks are worried about. And for someone like me, who learned the hard way that blind trust in information, especially financial information, leads to losses, that is a serious concern. And it is not just about critical thinking, it is about influence. These AI models are trained on massive amounts of data, and they present information in a certain way. Who controls that data? What biases might be embedded? Could the AI subtly steer you towards certain products, certain services, certain ways of thinking about money, without you even realizing it? The old search engine, with its blue links, at least gave you a variety of perspectives, forcing you to choose and evaluate. Now, it feels like Google is taking on the role of editor, curator, and even influencer, all rolled into one. And when that influence touches your wallet, we need to be extra vigilant. Think about it. What if the AI, in its pursuit of efficiency, prioritizes information that leads to a purchase? What if it recommends a certain financial advisor, or a specific type of insurance, or even a particular investment platform? Not because it is genuinely the best for you, but because of some underlying algorithm or partnership. This isn't some far-fetched conspiracy theory. Companies exist to make money, and Google is no exception. This new AI search is a powerful tool. And like any powerful tool, it can be used for various purposes. My personal experience with investment scams taught me that sometimes the most sophisticated presentations are designed to separate you from your money. Another massive concern that has been making the rounds, and one that really hits close to home when you think about your financial security, is data privacy. People are pointing out that these new AI features, especially on Android phones, might be accessing a lot more of your personal data than you realize. Your biometrics, your financial activity, your location, even your health data. It is all potentially linked, and while there are ways to supposedly turn off some permissions, it often involves a deep dive into obscure settings, navigating through multiple menus, and clicking through pages of legal jargon. I mean, did you see the steps that person had to take to try and limit data sharing? It was like a treasure hunt through the fine print. And even then, they admitted you can't remove everything. You can only limit what is being shared. This directly impacts our financial privacy. Companies use this data to understand your purchasing habits, your tendencies, what you're likely to buy. They build profiles on you, and then they use that information to sell you more stuff, to tailor ads, to create products they know you'll be tempted by. My past self, the one who impulsively bought into every hot tip and must-have investment, would have been an absolute goldmine for these data-driven algorithms. They would have known exactly how to push my buttons, how to trigger my desire for quick profits, how to exploit my financial vulnerabilities. This isn't just about ads. It is about understanding you as a consumer, almost better than you understand yourself. When companies know your interactions, your tendencies, your financial situation, they can create incredibly persuasive marketing strategies. That means more money out of your pockets, potentially going into products or services you don't truly need, or investments that aren't right for you. For me, someone who has had to claw his way back from significant financial losses, the idea of companies having even more granular access to my financial and behavioral data is unsettling. It is like having a constant invisible salesperson whispering in your ear, always trying to get you to spend, to invest, to consume. It brings up a wider issue too, one that touches on the very nature of our digital existence and its impact on our financial well-being. We're trading convenience for data, efficiency for privacy. And for those of us who have learned the hard way about protecting our assets, our money, our financial future, this trade-off is something we need to scrutinize carefully. We need to ask ourselves, is the convenience of an AI-powered search worth the potential for increased data collection and the subtle manipulation of our spending habits? I'm not saying this Google update is inherently evil. It is a natural progression for tech companies, driven by innovation and the desire for market dominance. And from a shareholder perspective, Google is doing incredibly well. Their stock is up, and investors seem to love the direction they're heading. But as individuals, as consumers, as people trying to build secure financial lives, we need to be aware of the implications. We need to be proactive in protecting our data, in maintaining our critical thinking skills, and in understanding that convenience often comes with a hidden cost. So, what is my take on all this? I don't think it is the worst thing in the world. The efficiency can be useful, no doubt, but I also believe we need regulations, clearer boundaries on what AI can do with our data and how it can influence us. We need to ensure that while AI is making our lives easier, it is not simultaneously making us dumber or poorer. For someone like me, who has made countless financial mistakes rooted in a lack of critical thinking and impulsive decisions, this new AI landscape presents both opportunities and significant challenges. It is a new frontier, and we need to navigate it with our eyes wide open, especially when it comes to our money. My advice remains the same, regardless of how Google's search engine evolves. Do your own research, be skeptical, question everything, especially anything that promises quick returns or effortless solutions. Understand that your financial journey is your responsibility, not an AI's, not a search engine's, not a guru's. Use these tools wisely, but don't let them replace your own judgment. Stay informed, stay critical, and protect your financial privacy as fiercely as you protect your savings. Because in this increasingly automated and AI-driven world, your discernment is your greatest asset. It is about balance. Using the tools for good, but always being mindful of the potential downsides. And for me, someone who has walked the path of financial mistakes, that balance is absolutely critical for anyone trying to build lasting wealth. Let me take a step back and really dive into why this shift to an AI-driven search experience raises such red flags for someone like me. Someone who has intimately experienced the consequences of financial naivety. In my early 20s, my biggest financial downfall wasn't just poor stock picks or falling for scams. It was fundamentally a failure of independent thought and critical analysis. I allowed myself to be swayed by external narratives, by the perceived wisdom of crowds, and by the seductive promise of easy money. This new AI search, in its very design, has the potential to amplify those same vulnerabilities. When you're presented with a concise, seemingly definitive answer from an AI, there is an inherent psychological tendency to accept it without further questioning. It streamlines the information flow, yes, but it also streamlines the cognitive effort required to process that information. For financial matters, where accuracy, context, and a nuanced understanding of risk are paramount, this simplification can be incredibly detrimental. If I had had such a tool in my speculative trading days, I might have simply asked, is XYZ stock a good buy, received a confident, sounding summary, and then acted on it without ever delving into the company's financials, market trends, or competitive landscape. That shortcuts the learning process that eventually painfully led me to sound financial principles. The danger isn't necessarily that the AI will always be wrong, but that it bypasses the journey of discovery, the process of evaluating conflicting data, and the development of one's own informed opinion. These are the skills that protect you from bad investments and financial scams. These are the skills that teach you patience, diligence, and skepticism. If an AI is constantly summarizing, curating, and presenting information as a fait accompli, we risk losing those essential mental muscles. It is like having a personal trainer who does all the push-ups for you. You might look like you're exercising, but you're not getting any stronger. And in finance, strength comes from understanding, not just from receiving answers. Consider the landscape of financial advice. It is already saturated with people and platforms vying for your attention and your money. Some are legitimate, some are outright fraudulent, and many operate in a gray area, offering products that benefit them more than they benefit you. In the past, Google's search results, with their myriad of links, presented this diverse, messy ecosystem. It forced you to discern, to look for reputable sources, to compare opinions, and to slowly build a picture of what constituted sound advice versus predatory marketing. An AI, by synthesizing this information into a single, cohesive response, could inadvertently legitimize less credible sources or subtly weave in promotional content without clear disclaimers. The line between impartial information and incentivized recommendation could become incredibly blurred, making it even harder for novices to identify conflicts of interest. My experience with get-rich-quick schemes taught me that scammers are masters of presentation and persuasion. They excel at making complex, fraudulent schemes appear simple, logical, and incredibly profitable. An AI that excels at clear, concise summarization could, without malicious intent, become an unwitting accomplice. If a scam is designed to present itself in a convincing narrative, and an AI's job is to present a convincing narrative based on available information, there is a potential for dangerous synergy. It becomes even more critical for users to retain their innate skepticism and to always verify claims independently, no matter how smoothly the AI delivers them. And then there is the data privacy aspect, which for me touches on something even more fundamental than just avoiding scams. It is about personal autonomy and control over one's financial destiny. When companies collect vast amounts of data about your online behavior, your location, your purchases, your health, they are building an incredibly detailed profile of who you are. This profile can then be used to predict your future behavior, to identify your vulnerabilities, and to target you with hyper-specific advertisements and offerings. The old search engine had some of this, sure, but with AI having deeper access and the ability to process this data in more sophisticated ways, the potential for manipulation is magnified. I remember my own impulsive spending habits in my younger days.